thank you all for coming and being part of the conference this weekend. We're really happy to have you here. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the National Coalition to Protect Civil Freedoms. For those of you who are new, I know a lot of people have been to these conferences before, but we're an organization that was founded by Professor Senya Adian, and the goal of the organization is to really push back against many of the post-9/11 counterterrorism policies that have been implemented under the guise of the war on terror, and in particular to support Muslim political prisoners and their families. So this has been a priority of our work since its founding in 2010. There are a number of people in this room, such as Steve Downs, Mel Underbaki, Lynn Jackson, and Kathy Manley, who have been here and been part of this organization from the very beginning. So, of course, we want to thank them for helping. Also to acknowledge our current staff members, which include Mel Underbaki again, Kathy Manley, Reem Jayusi, and Miriam Afrani. So I guess with this audience, I don't need to say that much, right, about the war on terror. We all know what has happened under this so-called war on terror. We know that Muslims have been criminalized and continue to be criminalized under the guise of things such as material support for terrorism laws, under new programs such as countering violent extremism, and many other policies under the war on terror. It's unfortunate that we continue to battle these policies. It's unfortunate that we have an increasingly hostile climate towards Muslims, where there's not only policies that are being enacted by the state, but where there's also hate crimes that are being enacted by members of society. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that these two things operate in tandem, that we can't isolate the policies of the state from hate crimes, that they operate in a cyclical manner. That is, that the state creates policies that demonstrate that it's okay to target a particular group of people, and that sends a message to society that you will not be held accountable and that it is okay to target this group of people. So this is why we have seen, for example, the rise of hate crimes, particularly because of Trump and his rhetoric. So we're here in this room today because many of you have loved ones who have been imprisoned, unfortunately, under the laws and policies of the war on terror. So we hope to use this weekend to talk about some of the intersections and overlaps with the issues that we're working on and addressing, and also to help build community. We know that in this community there are many people who have been isolated, who've been stigmatized, who've been marginalized, and we need to stand together. We need to build collective power, because it's only through our collective power that we're going to be able to challenge and confront these policies. So I'm really hoping that this weekend will leave us renewed. I'm hoping that this weekend will help rebuild community and build community, and that we'll leave with a stronger network and push harder against the policies of the state. So along the lines of state violence, which has affected many different groups in the United States, we have a speaker with us tonight, Queen Krystal Brown. We're very, very honored to have her with us tonight. I met Krystal at a fellowship through the U.S. Human Rights Network. Her husband was a victim of state violence. He was killed by the police, and she will tell us a little bit more about that story, about her story and how she has fought back. But for us in this moment and in this room, it's important for us to look beyond our own struggles and to connect with larger struggles and to build together moving forward. Because state violence is massive. State violence affects all of us. State violence is motivated by white supremacy. And we need to understand and underscore many of these ideas in order, again, to move forward as a collective. So we have with us Krystal again. She's part of the Black Lives Matter movement, which has done a lot of work, right, addressing police violence, police brutality. And she's going to speak to us about her story, and hopefully we can have a discussion about the intersections and overlaps so that we're able to extend our work to the larger community and build camaraderie and kinship with other communities, and similarly invite those communities into our own. So I'm very, very, very honored to have Krystal with us tonight. So if you could all join me in giving Krystal a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to sit because I just feel like I'm at home, and your atmosphere and your energy is just perfect. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Krystal Brown, and I'm from Florida, DeLand, Florida, near Daytona Beach, Orlando. And I stand and I represent my husband, Marlon Brown, who was killed May 8th, 2013 by the DeLand Police Department. He was allegedly being stopped for not wearing a seatbelt. It was 12:30 a.m. He was in a car, windows rolled up, tinted windows. We live in a small community in DeLand. They tend to label our communities drug neighborhoods, that sort of thing. So we get a lot of stops for not wearing seatbelts, tag lights broken, those sort of things. So it kind of follows what goes on in our communities. So he's allegedly, the police get behind him for not wearing a seatbelt, and he does not stop. Instead, he drives to a small field within our neighborhood. He gets out of the car, he runs away, and the first officer behind him stopped, gave the relevant commands. The second officer, who is not in charge of the pursuit, decides to apprehend him using his car. So he continues to follow him into this field. He's going initially, and this is all documented, these are the facts that the state gave me. He initially follows him into this field going 16 miles per hour, and by the time he collides with his body, he's going 25 miles per hour. All caught on video, dash cam video, which we made public because we thought that it was very important that everyone was able to see and understand the outrage and why we're upset and why we're still fighting and demanding justice. It's not just because we're grieving families. It's not just because we miss our loved ones. It's because it's the right thing to do. And so we released the video, and it can be seen on YouTube, Execution of Vegetable Garden. But it gets them going 25 miles per hour. Definitely not something that I believe is taught in police academy, to chase a man 200 pounds with a 2.5-ton vehicle. The officers allowed his body to lay under the car for 4.5 hours. You see no sense of urgency, no one trying to lift the car from his body. The community came out. This actually happened, I believe it was probably about 3 blocks away from our home. And social media is crazy, the way that it's grown, and that's actually how I learned about his death. It just so happens I woke up that morning, couldn't sleep, and Maha laughs at me because I always pick up my phone and I go to Facebook. Can't sleep, I see, stroll through Facebook. So I picked up my phone and I was strolling through Facebook, and I see a post that says, "Oh my God, Marlon Brown was just killed by the police." And I'm like, what? Can't. And then my phone starts ringing, and I go to the scene. But the community's out. They're wanting to help lift the car from his body immediately. They're told no. They're more concerned about the crime scene than they are about human life. So again, it took 4.5 hours for them to get the car from his body. Meantime, my children are there. They're watching. The community is watching. We call it just an act of modern day lynching, where they allow our bodies just to be dismantled and while people watch, we pretty much on to let us know, to send a message. If you don't comply, if you don't obey, this is what we will do to you. We will get away with it. So of course, after all of that, they definitely investigated themselves. You know, that's why we definitely call for some independent investigations, need some outside people, some groups, some civil community onlooking policing. But they were allowed to investigate themselves. The state attorney did turn everything over to a grand jury, and the grand jury came back with an indictment. So basically, I'm being told by the United States Judicial Department that this was a justified murder by police. Now here, they can't say that the police did not say that he was in fear of his life or on his running away. There's no guns, there's no weapons, anything near his body. They can't say that he was acting crazy because he was on drugs. Can't say any of that. Those are a lot of the labels and the things they like to say about us to kind of help cover up their actions. They can't say any of that. We have a medical examiner's report that says he was never struck by the car. Definitely, if you take a look, and I challenge you all to do that, you will see for yourselves that he was definitely struck. And it's crazy how we're asked not to believe what our own eyes can see, but believe what we tell you, as if we don't have common sense, as if we don't have minds to just know right versus wrong. And so in that, I believe I was speaking to the mother on the corner here earlier, and she was telling me how 2005 changed her life. 2004, I'm sorry, changed her life. And I expressed how September of 2013 changed my life. The day that I stood at the courthouse and the state attorney came back with a no bail indictment was the day my life was forever changed. And I say that, and sometimes people look at me crazy because my life didn't exactly change when Marlon was killed. It was definitely affected. You know, I was sad and all that stuff, but I, some strange reason, had beliefs in our system. You know, people come to America because it's the land of the free and the home of the brave and all those good tales that we learn and that we hear. And then, of course, once I knew that there was a video, this is a no-brainer. There's video, there's witnesses. Okay, you know, Marlon's gone. We'll miss him. That's sad. You know, we will have to move on, but justice will be served because everything's in place. We have the best objective evidence ever. But the day that they came and they wanted me to believe in their lies, September 2013 was the actual day that my life, my vision, my fight, my mission changed. So we collected all of the evidence. And that's the strange part that they gave. I could show you in my house, like a room is like dedicated to this fight, where I have so many documents, pictures, I mean, testimonies, all of this stuff that I have. And it's nothing that I made up. It's what you gave me. And, you know, we always laugh because I guess it was the expectation that they say you put it in a book and most black people won't read it, you know. But I can tell you on May 8, 2013, they killed the wrong black man because we read every piece of documentation. We looked at every photo, everything. And again, I fight this battle not based on our sadness, but I fight it based on the facts and the facts that they gave. And so we fight and we go and we travel and we meet families because honestly, if I were not doing this, I think I would probably be paralyzed at home, sitting in a room, depressed. This is actually part of my healing, which I never think will happen, but it keeps me going. So we do that, and understanding that, again, the title here, Connecting the Struggle. My fight, immediate fight may be against the police. Others may have other injustices that were served to you, but collectively we are in this together. It's not just one system that's corrupt. It's not just the police. It's not just the institutions. It's not just the security guards. It's the whole entire system that is systematically killing us. And it's funny because I was in a store. I do a lot of educating within our community. And I had a guy to stop me, and he was like, Chris, like, what are we gonna do? These officers need to be trained. And initially, I believe that's how I used to think. You know, we need to change training policies. And I used to go down to the police station and I used to ask, how often are you being trained on this policy? How often are you being trained on that policy? And they beef it up. Okay, yeah, instead of only being trained once a year, we'll do it 3 times a year. They're willing to do all of that. But the more it happens, and the more stories you hear, it's not about training. It's about the way they look at us, the way they label us. And so there's another person that says something about the police are racist, or maybe the people that work in the institutions that are doing whatever, they're racist. I don't even believe that that's the underlying answer. I believe it's just the way that they've been taught. If you listen to some of the things that have been said by police officers when they kill people, they label us as monsters. They label us as thugs. They label us as terrorists. And so if you're growing up and you're being told that a person that looks a certain way has certain values or is going to do a certain thing, or you know, the different labels that they put on us, you're going to believe that. So I think it's deeper than just saying that someone is racist or they need more training. You really need to, I don't know. It's going to take more than that. And then they know how to play on the words of the policies. I've had, lawyers tell me that there would never be a police officer that's going to be charged in Florida the way that the statutes are written. And I'm looking, and it's heartbreaking. Because where do we go? So are you telling me to stop fighting for justice for all? Well, that can't happen. We have to continue to fight, but we have to change the policies. We have to change the way that the words are written, so that they cannot continue to hide behind the policies. So it's very important that we come together. Again, no matter if it's police or institutions or security guards or whatever your fight may be specifically, again, like Maha said, it's not about our individual stories. Now it's time to show them a collective resistance, to let them know that, no, we're not taking this anymore. You're not going to continue to kill our loved ones and leave our children fatherless and motherless without results. You cannot continue to do that and nothing happens. So we have to stand together. We have to invite each other to events. We have to stand when we go to the White House. They need to see a united front. Because I know a lot of times when we go, let's say if we go to our local government in my town, one of the things they love to tell us, well, black people kill black people. Oh yeah, but black people go to jail for killing black people too. You know, that's still not, that doesn't give a reason or justification for anyone to kill another person. But if we show that it's not just about black people being upset about murder and imprisonment. It's just wrong on all levels, and not just African American people are mad. Everyone's mad because now, if you look at the news, it just doesn't happen to African people. It's happening to everyone. And if anyone thinks that they're safe, then I don't know what rock you're living up under, because it can happen to anyone at any time, on any day. So we must continue to fight, and we must come together. So, I guess we want to kind of open it and make it more of a discussion a little bit. But that's my story, and that's why I'm here. I'm open, like I said, to stand with every one of you in solidarity for the fight against state violence. Anything that I can do, anything that I can help with, bringing more people, not just you guys who are pissed off about what's going on. There are more people. There are people that stand with you, that pray for you, that believe in you, believe in us together. So it is definitely about us all connecting.